think a lot of people also running away from actually sitting down and feeling, you know, like, so you're talking about like the lonely phase and being alone and stuff like that. A lot of people can't be alone.
Trees on the beat, on the beat.
So today we have Jaeson.
Yeah, man. Thanks for. I think it's a long time since we didn't hold our ones to and just talk.
Yeah,
So actually looking forward to just talking and getting away from like the schoolwork and
yeah,
and just to relax to a little bit and talk, just connect. I feel like it's a long time since we just didn't talk. We just didn't talk as just brothers, as on our
definitely,
ones.
definitely. And the thing with the podcast too is that I was talking to I can't remember what guest it was. I think it was actually Cameron on the first on the episode that we had that had get can had that just wasn't exporting, and I was telling them that the cool thing with the podcast is that because I'm always so busy trying to figure out life, it's hard for me to find time to hang out with people. So the podcast is like a good place for me to like catch up with people, and so I kind of killing two birds with one stone. Um, yeah. So, but at the same time, I know that it's still not healthy to just be a workaholic, you know. But I think my fear is that I kind of run out of time. I just getting older. I getting older. My kids getting older, and it's hard to like prioritize um um hanging out as much as I used to.
Yeah, but I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah,
I think that it's about balance, right?
definitely.
I don't really same with me. I don't think that I don't really make time to hang out like that unless I hang out with some of my I don't know, maybe like Navina and those guys. Those guys were married and stuff too, but like the way they hang out is like, oh hey, like what are you guys up to on Friday the 15th of December?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, cool. I could, or I don't have the kids, or I could block an hour off. Like literally 2 weeks ago, we went out. I was there for an hour and a half. So able to kind of plan it out like that.
yeah,
But other than that, is like I think even like sometimes I talk to you. I think you called me this morning, or was it yesterday? I think I just called you and I was like, no, you called me and you're asking me something for Spencer Hall. You said,
yeah.
oh, where's Spencer Hall? I was like, bro, like that's the same place that I go for school. I go
But
there tomorrow.
I was driving around West End looking for Spencer Hall.
Yeah, so but at the end of the day, that make me happy too because at the same time, it's like it's difficult to balance work and life and family and I mean you say that you're kind of on a race against time and I don't know, maybe explore that, like what do you mean you have a race against time, like in
Oh,
what way?
I feel like when I say on a race against time, like I have like a bunch of fears that I need to conquer. You
Mm.
know, um, like my kids getting older, and me being able to be in a place where where they could be proud. Like where they could just be proud of what of what I of what of what I have done or what I'm doing. Um, and my mom is getting older, and I want her to see that she was right when it came to me and who everyone said I was and who I turned out to be. So it's like the race against time is more of a I need to become, and I need to sacrifice some things in order to become that. And it's hard because not much friends. I have like a couple friends who understand time, and they understand like, we might be able to hang out all the time. And when we hang out, it might just be for like an hour, hour and a half. But our heart's still there. Like for instance, like Nate, we were supposed to hang out like last weekend. And after work, he texted me and I texted him. And I knew that he was tired. And he knew that I was tired.
Yes,
So
cancel.
so we were like, yo, you tired? He was like, yeah, you tired? I was like, yeah, I tired too. He's like, let me do it next week.
Mm-hmm.
But then when next week came and we were supposed to hang out, he messaged me. But then I explained to him that I just so backed up with work right now that I just need to finish my work. And he's like, yeah, for sure, let's do it. So like having friends that understand that, I wouldn't have time to hang out as I used to, and and that came from wake up calls, right? That came from, well, the situation that happened, and then we just stopped hanging out as much. Not between us, I mean, like we saw us have these big gatherings, and
Yeah.
then I feel like there was a point in time where God was like, that need to end because it's not doing nothing for you guys. And I have this saying where I say, I have a saying that goes, when when God wanted to stop something, He gives you the opportunity to be the one to stop it in time, and it could save you from from hurt. But once you don't listen, once you're not obedient, he then he cuts it off. So he's like a parent. But when he cuts it off, it's more like, oh wow, I can't believe this happened to me.
Yeah.
When it happened to you, you look back and be like, oh, I had so much opportunities to cut this off, and I wasn't obedient. And then it happened to you, and you feel like so hurt and shocked by the situation. And that was like a wake up call for me. And then that's when I really started to batten my crease, you know. So when I say reason for time, it's like all these different things that I want to do and I want to figure out in life and who I want to be. Yeah, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
No, it does. I feel like I think that you mentioned a few things, and I feel like I think your friends and who you hang out with. Well, everybody know this, like that's very important, and it's good that you have people around that understand. Because even if you talk about Nate, he's also an entrepreneur too. He's doing a thing, like he's busy, so he'll understand, right? I don't think we have to be like we're brothers. We'd have to be, and we see each other all the time at work, but we don't really hang out because it's like we know that we're both like progressing towards, like we're trying to create our dreams,
Yeah, definitely.
and pursue something meaningful, and it's not easy, especially when you have a family to take care of, you
Yeah,
know, and responsibilities. So prioritizing the time, that's something that's one of the things I learned too, is that um, the only thing that I have control over is my time.
yeah,
I don't think I can't control anything else, at least not for my knowledge. Like, so when it comes to my time, I'm very particular about who I give that to and what I do with it. So for me, going out and let's say going out and partying, I could do it. I wouldn't lie. Sometimes I feel like I want to do it, but that's discipline not to. But for me, when I think about it, I'm like, okay, let's say I go this Friday night and I have a good time and I drink all night, whatever it is. Then what's the repercussions of that? Because most people think when they go out on Friday night, they just go out on
yeah,
Friday night and then that's it. What about you're intoxicated the next day, you're tired, you feel like
exactly.
crap the next day, you can't do anything. So basically, that's lost a whole
Everything get
day.
pushed back. Everything
Everything
get
get
pushed
pushed
back.
back, right?
As they say that, before you go on, as I say this, something came to my mind, and I say, let me say it before I forget it. Right? And it was that because like I don't know about everybody else, but like for me, when I listen to people, I like when anytime someone talks, I see pictures, and I see like a story behind it, not just words.
Right.
That's just how my mind works. But like when you were talking, something came to my mind, and it was that time is water. It's like water. You could shape it, you could direct it, but you can't hold it in your hands.
Hmm. That's like
You
true.
know, so
Yeah.
because you could direct your time and control it in that way, but you can never hold it with your hands and stop it.
Hmm.
It's gonna happen whether you like it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So that just came to my mind, so I had to remember it before I forget. So
No,
yeah.
you're right. I think that's a real good analogy. Like I just look when I came to see you tonight, I was looking at like some photos of your son, and I was like, I saw him when last I saw him, that would have been for Jaden's birthday. So like September.
Yeah.
We're now in November, so almost 2 months ago. And I feel like I was looking at those photos. Were those photos recent?
Which are the ones on the fridge? I don't even know.
Yeah,
Are they,
it looked
'cause,
recent, but
like they
he
all
looked so
putting
much
things on
bigger,
the
right?
fridge.
Like even like today, I went to see my son, and I was like, he, I was saying to him, I'm like, man, like you get so like he looks like a lot smaller and like
Slimmer, yeah.
slimmer. You can see that he's like he sleeps a lot longer now. Like
Yeah.
this guy is sleeping like 12
'Cause I see
hours.
him. I see whenever he comes to the shop. I see him the other day for Jaden birthday. I think it was too when he was playing football with him. It's like, yo, this man is like a little man now, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like so, and that's the thing. Like I think that as you talk about like visuals, like you don't see it too.
No.
Like you just see it when it's like, oh, no, he looks. You can see that he's visibly taller, but you know, let's say 2 3 months ago, you don't see like every single centimeter that's going up.
No.
Like you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you see him today, and then next 2 days it's like, oh wow, like like where did that time go when when he went from like here to here? Like
Yeah.
there's no way to unless you're like videotaping it or taking photos of it or whatever. You could never get that back. You could, and you can't unsee it.
Yeah. Definitely.
And he would never be that height again.
And that's why I think, like, you see, when it comes to time, man, like even in the Bible where it talk about poverty, but in this subject matter operating to time, because the Bible says something like poverty will creep up on you like a thief in the night, and it's the same with time. And that's because you don't see it. It's like eating cake. Like if I go to the gym and I eat cake, I wouldn't see the cake, and that's the bad part about it. Because if I could see the cake on my body, then I wouldn't eat the cake. But because you don't see it, there's one day gonna come and you're gonna be like, and it's the same thing with time, right? It's that time you think you have so much time. You think you have so much time, bro, and then you look back on it, and so for me, it's a bunch of fears, bro, when it comes to time.
Yeah. No, I think that you're on the right path. Like, sorry. I think that even on the analogy with water, like it's like everyone wants to be like the next person. Sorry, this one. Yeah, everyone wants to be like they want to follow somebody else, but then I feel like the older I gotta realize that it's a bunch of it's like the blind leading the blind, and that's where your friend's important, because if you have a friend that likes to hang out all the time and waste time, what do you think you're gonna do? Because they're gonna call you, you're gonna end up hanging out and wasting time, right? So, and then the conversation is gonna be different. But then I was also thinking, like, you had a book you was writing before. You used to do like short stories,
Yeah.
and I remember this one you had like with the lonely phase, and all of these things tie in, eh? All those things kind of tie in my opinion. Is like it's gonna be lonely.
Definitely.
And not just no lonely as in, oh yes, you have your family, but lonely as in you're not going to be able to do some of the things that the 99% is going to be doing.
Yeah.
But like, do you want to be doing that? Or are you trying to like create your own way? Because when you create your own way,
It's better. But
it's going to be
honestly,
lonely.
bro, honestly, I would say something that I always tell people is like, I honestly am jealous of people who could work their job and come home and chill and be happy. Like I feel like if you happy going to work and coming home and watching movies or whatever, I think you crack the code. I think you win life. Because for me is that I can't stay still, bro. This is why one of my favorite TED Talks is by the lady who wrote Scandal.
I forgot her name. I know who you're talking about though.
But yeah, so one of my favorite TED Talks was from her.
Yeah, she was good.
Right? And it's because what's her name? Anyway, but it's because she speaks about it, about time, and she speaks about being a workaholic, but being a workaholic comes from a place of wanting more for everybody around you. and not stopping until you literally inside out, so that they could see. So tonight I was talking to Jada, and she was like, Daddy, sometimes you should stay home on a Saturday. And I told her, I'm like, yeah, but I'm with you Sunday, you know, and sometimes I keep you home to chill with you. But working is not a bad thing. This is what Dad's supposed to do, because I want her to know that when she see that when she does get a husband, that working hard, like, you want to look for somebody who works hard, and like not necessarily puts work first, because I'm here every time for dinner and everything, but you want somebody to work hard and look for those kind of qualities in somebody, at the same time, so I don't know. It's weird when it comes to me. I don't know if I was going off a little bit, but I just like rattling off right now. But yeah.
I just think everybody different too. Like, I would say some people, it just depends on what make you happy, bro. I think that's what it come down to. Cause I'll always say I'll say like I could be alone in a, I think I said that on the last podcast, but I could be alone in a dark room with a goldfish and be happy. You know, you know. It just depends on what make you happy.
Yeah.
And some people, their happiness is going to work and coming back. Some people don't have that creative. Some people just don't have that, and that's the part that you have to understand too. Is that you have something, you have a unique capability that you assume most people have. You drive to work, family time, pursue other different things while you work, while you run the shop, this and that. Like, that's not an everyday thing.
No,
So therefore you
definitely.
can't you would never be able to like be out every weekend like you was when in your 20s, right? You're on a different path right now. And the people that come into your life, or they will understand. And if they don't understand, then you probably just put them to the side because they don't need to be around you,
Yeah.
But I think that because you talk about visual learning, and two things came to mind right now. Like, one, um, I I want to ask you a question actually. Like, this is something that I ask myself, and I'm trying to work it out. And maybe on another podcast we'll talk about it more too. But I want to do is like, why why are you here? We don't talk about this now, but like,
Yeah.
why are you here? So I was asking myself these questions, and
You mean like on Earth or
like
here right now?
on Earth, like what? So you talk about
Like
Jada and your
yeah.
kids and how you
Like
want to
what's
make
my
them proud of
purpose?
mommy. Exactly. What's your purpose, right? But like, what's your what's the footprint you want to leave behind when you're gone?
Okay, yeah. And
What's your greater purpose?
and
Like,
and
and
that's it.
there's
No,
more
no.
than this. So
Yeah.
for now, it might take, because you're young,
I
and
know,
be
I
trying to
know.
figure
I
it
know what
out,
you're
right? You're
saying.
gonna be putting in the work,
So
but like, what do you think? Have you ever
so
thought about that?
and before I answer that question, I will say I hope you guys like my voice, because I was watching a TED talk and it said that people listen when they talk from my chest, because I used to talk like this on the podcast all the time, and then I realized, oh, I need to talk in my chest some more.
Mm.
The people like to listen, so I've been practicing it a lot. But I see what you're saying, but because I always tell people that I feel your dream should be for after you die and not while you're on earth, because that way you never achieve it until the day you die.
Mm.
So for me, what I think my purpose is in life is, honestly, honestly, I still figuring it out.
And
I see a little bit of glimpses here and there. I have dreams of me being somewhere and something happening, but I can never really see behind the curtain. Like I always have these vivid dreams, and so for me, I think my purpose, bro, is, I honestly feel like it is I feel like I'm a bridge. You know, I feel like I'm a bridge. I feel like people walk over me to get to a new place. And at first, I used to think it was a bad thing. And when I say walk over me, I don't mean take advantage, but I mean like the I am the connection to a new place, and they walk over me to get to this new place. And some people look back, and some people make the bridge prettier, but some people keep walking. You know, and some people even walk over the bridge and then talk shit about the bridge after. It's like that bridge was had way too much traffic,
Mhm.
you know, but they didn't realize that if the bridge wasn't there, you would
No
have to
cross.
take a
Yeah.
you have to take a
Yeah.
plane,
Mhm.
you know. So
Hmm.
I do feel like that sometimes. I feel like I give my all to everyone. I always tell Christy that I think the way I'm gonna die is by people, and I don't mean by being murdered or anything. I just mean by heartbreak, you know. Um, I think my purpose is to be a bridge, you know, is to be a bridge, is to show people that it have so much more in life and so much more to life that we don't even process that. Like everyone in the world now, the focus is finance, you know, which is okay, which like you need money to survive, right? But to me, it's still puzzling that people only take advice from people who have money, you know? And it messed up, bro. Like when people say, "Oh, don't take advice from somebody who do have who do have what you want," you know? And I like, why? So I could get advice from a drug addict, bro. You know, I see it as I could get advice from a homeless person. I'm not going to take financial advice. I'm not going to be here get advice like invest in this certain stock, you know. Or he could get you good advice as financial advice because he could tell you what he did that mess him up and what not to do, you know. So I think that that's my purpose, bro. My purpose is to show people that you could learn from anywhere, bro. Everybody have the answers to different questions. No one person have the answer to all the questions. And feeling like somebody have all the answers. You know, like when people say, "Oh, this person was," oh, like for instance, I ask people all the time, is do you think Steve Jobs was successful? Do you think Steve Jobs was successful?
In what way? Well, like, define
Like
successful.
in the way in the terminology of the world, was Steve Jobs successful?
Like financially.
No, like in like for anybody. If I was to ask a random person if Steve Jobs was
If you ask a
successful,
random person, they'll probably say yes, because
right?
financially. But I don't know his
Exactly,
like
because
how he
because
was
his
as
his his
successful.
his
Yeah.
daughter, he didn't die with a relationship with his daughter,
Mm. Hmm.
so you can never be successful.
Mm.
Success to me means that you had that balance, and the balance ought to be perfect. It ought to be perfect. It ought to be like, oh, I had a perfect relationship with my this, and I had a perfect relationship with that. You know. But if you have a perfect relationship with the kids, or not even perfect, a, a, a relationship where they could depend on you, or where they could just come around and chill with you when they get older, you know, because they just like being around. You know, like when you could wake up a morning in your old age and hear footsteps downstairs and go downstairs and see Naya and Issa. Be like, what you guys doing here? Oh, we just come over, we just around. Or we just wanted something to eat. Or that's success to me.
Yeah.
Because they have the financial stability, right? That they want to come over and just get something to eat. And you have the relationship with the kids. I think that's bigger than any other financial gain that anybody else can get. But that's me.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's different for everybody, bro. I feel like that's me too, right? But then it goes back to like the way that we were brought up, and I think a lot of things go into that too, like emotional intelligence and you know accountability. That's another big thing. I think a lot of people don't even understand the real concepts of holding themselves
Mm-hmm.
accountable, um, and introspection. There's a lot of things that really go into that too. So I don't really go too much, but like I think that is exactly the type of relationship that I'm trying to foster with my kids, especially because with me sometimes and with their mom, like back and forth. And I could see the effect that it has on them too, and um, for me, my goal would be to see similar to what you just said, like the fact that I want them to know that they can come and they could talk to me about anything, and not really get in trouble for it, or you know, like Issa will come and tell me something, or Naya will just come and tell me random things, and you know, it could be good or bad. You know, at the end of the day, it's up to me to be able to control my emotions and you know understand that they're trying to communicate something with me. So far it's been more good than bad. But as they get older, like, is there something that I think that a lot of people don't really prepare for? Because I don't know, I guess different reasons life happen, but I always like every time I talk to, like, let's say I talk to my kids or think about my nieces and nephews or any kids, I always like, or someone tells me a story, I try thinking about myself as a kid and what I may have wanted at that age. And I know some time ago we talk about like hitting and this and that, and that's why for me I came against that. Like I know we talk about that, but for me it's like I'm against that in the
Yeah, me
sense
too.
that
Guns. You should never hit the kids.
I know you say that you're against it too, but for me
Yeah,
it's like
against that boy. You
some
people
people
hitting the kids. Nah boy. I don't read that boy. I not on that. I not on that scene. No. I not part of that.
no, like for me it's more so like your kid trying to express something, and a lot of times I I I'll catch myself and I'll be like, okay, what's happening here? Like,
We should pull my closer,
oh yeah,
just in case.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, um, one day it was so like recently, I started to realize I started seeing trends. So I start seeing trends where it's like I would know when Issa's tired because he might start lashing out some more or acting I more irate or acting a little bit more irate or whatever, right? And I'll be like, okay, oh, it's 6:30. He's usually in bed like 7:30, whatever. Okay, cool. It's time to like take a shower and like to start this nighttime routine, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's easy for me to be like, oh, like you keep it in, and I get frustrated, right? But it's me trying to keep that calm and be like, hey, like, what's happening here? Okay. Oh, okay. He doesn't know to come and say, well, my daughter's 6, so Naya's 6. So she will come and say, oh, daddy, I'm tired. I want to go to sleep. Can you put me to bed? She'll do that. He won't do that. I literally ask him, are you tired? Mm-mm. And then I would like put him down, pat his butt twice, and this guy is knocked out,
Yeah.
you know? But the time before that is like he's trying to do something with Naya, or he's trying to come do something to me, kick this here, like, acting up, right? And so it's just me realizing that I start seeing trends in their behavior, and really understanding what it is that they're trying to communicate, and then trying to teach them that, hey, like, okay, like if you're tired, it's okay to say that you're tired. Like, he doesn't want to miss out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay to say, like, if Naya's next to him and Naya's going to bed too, then he'll say I'm tired. But it's okay um to express yourself, and not all the time. I think we over exemplify happiness, whereas like, oh, you're happy, let's take a photo. You're happy, let's, you know, and it's like, okay, it's okay to be sad too. It's okay
Definitely.
to cry. It's okay to be angry. It's okay, like, I love you still. You know what I mean? And all through all these different emotions, because we all have all these different emotions. And we as adults, most adults can't even don't even understand themselves to control their own emotions. how they, you know what I mean? How
Bro, it's
you,
not even like, because I was watching a podcast about this too, and it's like, is when it comes to emotions, is for you to be able to control your emotions, you have to understand your emotions. You have to understand when you're sad versus when you're depressed, versus when you're angry, versus when you're disappointed, versus when you're jealous, versus, because for us we understand two emotions. You're happy or you're sad.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're either happy or sad.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're happy for. You're excited? No,
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
excited. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so what you happy for? Or
Mm-hmm.
just feeling happy.
Yeah.
Sorry, happy, sad, and angry. It's like, why you angry? I don't know. But you could be angry because you're sad. You could be angry because you're hurt. You
Mm-hmm.
could be angry because something that somebody do to you remind you of a feeling that you had when you was younger, and you don't
Triggers.
understand.
Mm-hmm.
And that person don't understand either,
Mm-hmm.
because that person grew up in a different household. And um understanding that even siblings who was raised by the same mother and father was raised differently. you know
Yep.
like your relationship with mommy and daddy
Mm-hmm.
was different to my relationship with mommy and daddy, was
Mm-hmm.
different to Jeffrey's relationship with
Yeah.
mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
you know and we have to all understand that, and for you to be able to control your emotions, you have to really understand where the emotion coming from. And that it goes back to the book that I'm writing right now, is the lonely phase. Is everyone needs to go through that phase where they learn themselves and they can depend on themselves. My only downfall is I never did therapy, and it's something that I really want to start to do. It's free to understand where you come from and where you're going, and you can control the emotion. But most of us never do that, especially black men, because I was actually thinking. I think last week I told you that Dr. Mark was the first person that hugged me that didn't want something from me. The first man that hugged me that didn't want something from me. And I'm 34, bro.
Yeah, but describe that. When you mean, when you say didn't want something like what?
I feel like most of the men that hugged me before, they wanted something. Like, I seen most of the men that hug me take advantage of my mother.
Mm-hmm.
So it means that hug was to make her feel comfort and trust in you, rather than the hug being because I believe in this boy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a white man with long hair from Canada who we learn to like us. His template of person, right? His template of person not supposed to like us. And he walked into the barber shop one day and he's like, these kids are going somewhere. He encouraged you. He talked to you. He talked to me. And like, it was the first time I think any man hugged me that didn't have a motive. He just hugged me because he believed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, um, and so things like that is how we grew up, bro. And it hard because mommy was a mother who had to do it by herself. So even us having the understanding we have, I feel like there's so much there's so much memories. You ever watch Inside Out?
Both of them, yeah. The
Yeah.
second one?
I didn't
Or
watch
which
I didn't
one?
watch the second one as yet.
The second one is like, in my opinion, way better than the first. But
Honestly,
anyway, go ahead.
the first one sent me so deep that I didn't want to watch the second one. So,
Second one's
so this
okay.
is why I stopped writing the book that I was writing, because I started to go deep into my thoughts, and when I go deep into my thoughts, I get lost.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Get Out movie, right? So it's like I have a bunch of memories hidden in a compartment that I walk by every day, and I see the door and I don't want to touch the door. But inside the door, there's good memories, right? There's good memories like honestly, I would be honest with you. I feel like the room is full of good memories, but all the bad memories are stored right behind the door. So for me to get the good memories, I have to remember the bad memories. So I forget about the good memories. And the only time I remember the good memories right now is when I eat certain foods. I remember certain things. When people ask me certain questions, if we're talking about a topic. So there's sparks of memory. The memory is there. But for me to just go and grab the memory, if I'm writing, I can't go and grab the memory. Because it's shut out. I don't want to go into that room, you know? So that's what therapy looks like for me is clarity. Is I get I guess someone who would walk with me into the room so I don't have to walk by myself. So that when I go too deep, the person could pull me out, and say, okay, so I'm thinking when you're 150 and
You may transfer cash.
be like, yes, time for me to leave. Thanks, sir, because I didn't want to go too deep into that one day, Mike.
uh,
Oh, yeah.
nah, I think that therapy can help. It depends. There's a lot of different types of therapy, bro. But I think that not everybody believe in it too. But there are different types, and but there are a lot of different things too. Um, that in my opinion, um, could look like that, like therapy. But it's just essentially you're talking to somebody and they able to like ask you certain questions and stuff like that. And I think that that's maybe something that we should even do through the shop, bro. Think about it. Like even that's like have conversations like this,
Yeah,
where just like a group of men just meet once a month, whatever it is, and that's
definitely.
like 5, 6. That'd be a lot of people, and let's
Because I feel like
talk about certain things, discuss ideas, this that life.
everybody need therapy too, right? I feel like
Yeah,
every
bro.
single person need therapy.
To some extent, everybody, and that's the thing. Like that depends. Like for somebody, therapy might be reading or going for a jog or eating food or so it's kind of figuring out yourself. But if you look at it in like or a setting like this, then you might want to find somebody. But then the other hard part is finding somebody that's compatible
Yeah.
with you too, that you feel comfortable and this and that. So it's a
So
hard
so I
thing
had
to
some
navigate.
thoughts. It's like my first thought, my initial thought was I wanted someone who was black and preferably from the Caribbean. But if not from the Caribbean, then it's okay. And my initial thought was because the person could understand me more. But I feel like now I'm at a place where I'm like, I want a white woman who don't understand nothing about my culture to be able to tell me that's not normal. To be able to tell me, that's not right. With a different perspective and a different perspective on how I think. And I don't know, I could be right or I could be wrong. Because I really wanted the other one first, but now I feel like I want somebody who's like total opposite.
Mm, that makes sense. But I mean, you just want somebody who could like, you're right, who'll take an objective view.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, right? And have somebody who's like, and that's why that might be a good fit too. It's just finding somebody who could actually listen to what you're saying and ask the right questions. And that's what it is, bro. Like,
Yeah. I want
ask
an
the right
old, I
questions
want
and
an old white lady.
yeah.
Go and come and say, if you wasn't paying, if you wasn't paying me, you would never be sitting in my chair, boy. Now talk, boy. Come on, let it out.
Oh
Let it
god.
out. That's what
Yeah.
I want.
No, and like I think that's what I say, bro. Going back to what you're saying about the drive and stuff, bro. Like all these things tie into each other, and you could. I always tell myself it's decisions and consequences, bro. That's the two choices. I can make a decision, and then whatever decision I make, it always have a consequence, be it good or bad, and Like, so for you, it's like, oh, go out on a Friday night or stay in, put your kids to bed, and watch a movie with your wife, do all work, go to bed, so you can wake up early the next day to go to work. Like, it depends on what make you happy, like what brings you happiness. You know, I think a lot of people also running away from actually sitting down and feeling, you know, like, so you're talking about like the lonely phase and being alone and stuff like that. A lot of people can't be alone.
Yeah.
That's the Sorry, I'm gonna pull this closer. That's the reality of it. A lot of people, they may look happy on the outside, but they just can't be alone. Like, I love being
That's
alone.
power. That's I think being alone is so powerful, bro. It's like
Right.
and like understanding yourself. I don't think you could be with somebody until you learn to be alone.
Hmm.
And that's the
Yeah.
crazy thing is that because the way you love people when the way you love people when you don't mind being alone is a free way. It's like you love this person freely. Like this person allowed to be who they
Hmm.
want to be. Because
Yes.
you happy
With this
with you.
exactly. Yep.
So
Yep.
you could be like, oh, you could. This person is a
Hmm.
butterfly, bro.
Hmm.
I shouldn't say it's about a caterpillar.
Yeah.
And you like this person could become a butterfly and fly.
Hmm.
You know, but when you're not used to being with yourself, you take that caterpillar and put it in a plastic bottle and hope it never turns into a butterfly.
Yeah.
Because if it turns into a butterfly, it might fly away. But that's the beauty of it. And
Yes.
that's what I talk about the bridge. The beauty of it is not that somebody could come back and say the bridge is nice. The beauty of it is that somebody crossed the bridge.
Yeah.
If I was your bridge, there's nothing you could say to me that will make me be like, I should have never let it cross. I might be like, you know what? This person really do me dirty,
Hmm.
But I still lay across, the beauty in it is allowing a caterpillar to become a butterfly and watching it fly away. And hope maybe
Yeah.
it might come back.
Same. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Maybe it might come back and maybe the caterpillar might come back and help me. Sorry, maybe the butterfly will come back and help me become a butterfly too.
Hmm.
You know? But most caterpillars just leave, most butterflies go and never come back. But once you feel comfortable in yourself, you love people so differently, bro. You love because you want to see everybody grow.
Yeah. That's a problem. Well, not a problem, but that's a thing I see now too, where it's like, because they talk about like navigating like life and like friends and stuff like that, and I see that a lot of times when it's like people are like they. I'm someone that I will allow you to be you no matter what, because I want you to be the best version of yourself. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I think a lot of people say that but don't mean it. And like, let's say when I put that into the context of like dating, let's just say it's like, you know, I think that a lot of a lot of men, they say that but they don't really mean it. It's like they realize that this person could be a beautiful butterfly, and they put them into the jar.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at that jar is full with like a bunch of caterpillars, because they want this, they want that, because they don't know what they want for themselves. And for me, when I let's just say when I meet somebody or I talk to somebody, it's like, and it doesn't have to be a female, it could be a guy, like friends, anybody. It's like I actually want the best for this person.
Yeah, definitely.
And
But
that's
it's for
why,
women too, eh?
yeah.
It's for women too,
I feel like a lot of women don't see that with the other guys that they were with, and it intimidates them. Whereas like, oh, like, why you okay?
yeah,
I was like, yeah, like go out with your friends, like
which
go
is
to the
bro,
park, go on a walk.
it's
Like
supposed to
I
be
don't
like
have
that.
to be with you all the time. Like at the end of the day, my only thing is like, hey, like
You know what to do,
anytime you do anything, just let me know.
bro.
Like
And
let's
that's the
be
thing
real. Like
is that
don't want to have your cake and eat it too. That's
bro,
like, let me know.
bro. The thing I tell people, bro, if somebody want to do something, you can't stop
You
them.
can't stop them.
You know, and the thing is like, even with some women, because you often hear women say, "Oh, I don't wanna," you know, "Oh, you just gonna get rich and leave me." So what?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, bro, I see it like, if me looking at Christy was, "Oh, I don't want Christy to become a fitness guru or whatever, because she would just do it and then she realize she don't need me and she will leave me." She will, because that's more fair.
True.
You know, that's more fair. If because I would react based on my fear. So every situation she going into, I would lead with fear, and it will to her to be annoying. Because when she go and tell me, and be like, "Oh, you're going to this meeting again," and then eventually she reaches the place and she's like, "Oh, you just give me hell on the way up.
Yeah.
Time for you to
Yeah.
leave."
Mm-hmm.
You know, because everything I would lead with fear. You know, I see Future say something one time, and this Future is just an asshole, but this one he was like, she kept asking me, if I was cheating, and I wasn't, and then I cheated. So she spoke it into existence. she manifested it. It's her fault.
Manifestation.
You
That's
know?
good.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like, okay, that's not how it works, but it kind of is, because you keep bugging them about something and then eventually come true. You know, and I think that is the same thing with life, and having people around and understanding that you gotta love yourself. You know, people say, "Oh, you have to pay kids first and you pay your wife first." No, you have to pay yourself first, but in a selfish way. You have to pay yourself first in terms of your mental health and your health, because that's the only way you could pay everybody else
Mm-hmm.
in front of you. The only way you could be a good father is if your mental health right. If your mental health not right, you would think that suicide is the best option, or you think that to leave is the best option. You can never lead unless you have a level head. You know, you can be hurt. Of course, you have emotion, but you have to learn how to control your emotion. That's where the level head comes in, right? So I think that's the mistake that most people have right now, is that they feel like, if I love this person should want to stay with me, and that's not how love is for them. It's not
Mhm.
for you. You know, like when if I love you, it's supposed to be for you. You know, how I can make this person better.
Mm-hmm.
Then you love me, how I can make, and then we flourish together. But when I love you for what this person could get to me, you know what? Right now you're not giving me nothing, so I think it's time you leave. Of course, and the next person will come and do the same thing, and it's the same, and you'll always end up in the same situation,
Mm-hmm.
because you think that if somebody love you, they owe you something.
Yeah.
But if you love somebody, you owe them. Them to owe you, because you love them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, love is something you're supposed to give
Yeah, exactly.
and take second.
And right, in order for you to give that, you had to be it start with you.
Yeah, you have
You
to.
know?
Yeah,
does,
definitely.
bro.
And the only way you could give is if you're comfortable in who you are.
Yeah.
You know, that's why sometimes Chris, you'd be like, "Oh, you don't get jealous," and it's not that I don't get jealous, bro. Right? It's just that I understand, and I actually comfortable with, if somebody not feeling happy with me and they get somebody else that make them happy, go butterfly, fly.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, because I don't want it to be unhappy with me in
Mhm.
any way. It don't make sense being unhappy with me.
Yeah.
You know, like what we doing, we both gonna live our life. I gotta keep fighting for you to love me.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And that was another thing that I learned too. Like, I feel like when you start to understand yourself, it's like and nothing really matters. Like, so many things that we think matters actually is something that we create in our mind.
Yeah.
You know, like, for me to react in a certain way, that means that this person offended me, or right, did something to offend me. But that's something in my mind allow me to believe that whatever this person do or say was offensive. Because if this person said something nice that wasn't offensive, right, it creates a good emotion, right? So basically what I'm saying is that I create what's good or bad. I'm in control of that.
Yeah.
I'm in control of myself. I'm in control of me. I'm in control of, you can stay right now and say, but F you, Jason, this and this and this. I could either say, boy, if you too, da, da, da," or I could just understand that you hurt and just walk away and we talk on next time. Like, so, and that's what I say, like, the emotional intelligence, bro. I feel like a lot of people, is the blind leading the blind, but a big, big, big piece to life that I realized was missing is having a relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be God, Allah, Buddha,
A higher power. A
Karalashmi,
higher
a
power.
higher power, and understanding that and having faith, you know, um, and being with somebody that understand that too and have and like walk with faith too, especially as like entrepreneurs, like that's what we do every day. We literally, we one day we should sit down and actually talk about starting a barbershop
Yeah.
and tell people what actually happened. Like walk them through step by step what was happening when we like, oh, it was nothing illegal at all. But I think that it will be an interesting story for young entrepreneurs too, and to show people how they could think outside the box and be creative, right? And that's what we was doing, bro. We was walking with faith.
Yeah.
Like you don't know when you start a business, you don't know what's gonna happen
Yeah.
next.
We didn't know what he was doing.
Like right now you're working on your stuff. You don't know what's gonna happen next. You know what I mean? And but that doesn't mean that you're not gonna take the chance. That doesn't mean you're not gonna, or you don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. So you're gonna just buy a camera and leave it downstairs here and let's say, okay, no, like you're gonna take risks. You're gonna try to find new jobs and this and that, and you'll figure it out as you go along. And yeah, bro, like having that relationship
Bro,
with
that's
God,
yesterday when I
very
was in
important.
as you said yesterday when I was in Western. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. And I was thinking to myself, as I could be wrong, but I wondered how much black businesses Western ever hired to do this what I was doing. You know? And at that time, it was literally like God was telling me, like, understand that what you're doing, it might seem light, but it's not light. It's not light, bro. Like look at where you are right. Look at where he is right now. You know?
But that's something I also give Western and Ivy, bro. Like there's a drive with the like inclusivity and diversity. They they're doing a lot with, at least at IB. I know maybe at Western too, but they're doing a lot when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a lot, man. Like when you look at the classrooms and some of the cases that we do, stuff like that, it's like actually this class this week, we're gonna have a holy this case gonna be because this case gonna be wild. This
But
case gonna be
sweet,
wild.
so what had inspired you to go back to school?
I think that I reached up. I realized that I think I reached a point where was I hit a cap where I realized that hey, like okay, I'm new to Canada. I've been here. I moved here 7 years ago. Yeah, 7 years ago. Um, so in that 7 years, we moved here. That was what 2017, daughter 2018, son 2019, COVID 2020. That's like 2 years gone to 2022, right? And I reached a point where it's like, okay, there are things that I need to learn, you know, and it's not like a back home where I could navigate. I know a lot of people. Yeah, I know a couple people through the shop and stuff like that, but that's not really on a deep personal level. And I realize and I understand that there's things that I need to learn, principles that I need to learn, and um, rooms that I need to be in that I won't be able to do that being that's at the barber shop. You know, then we talk about that's the being a barber, there's also a stigma that's attached to that, you know. Whereas like I think that now, at least for me growing up and stuff like that, like being a barber, there's a stigma. There was like, oh yeah, this person like this is
You know,
like,
no,
well,
not now. It's like everybody wants to be a barber, but
yeah, no, it's like a
when
change. Now,
yeah, when
that's
we
what I'm
was
saying. I
barbers,
feel
it
like
was
when we
like,
were,
yo, you guys is barbers, you know.
yeah, and it's like I know that I came here. I came here on a mission too. That's the next thing. I knew that when I initially came, I was back and forth because we was opening the barbershop here. So in 2016, we opened the barbershop here. And the month before that was when we opened the senior care home. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
So November, we opened the senior care home, 2017, 2016. And December, we opened the barbershop here. And my goal was to be back and forth. And then I met my ex-wife now. And that changed. And that's when I decided to move here. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go. I had a degree from back home. I already doing this business, and it's like, okay, what are the job opportunities available for me right now? Now I'm in London, Ontario. This is 2017. It's a lot more diverse now, So I was like, no, I'm not gonna work at like I think I did like a bit of construction for a while,
mm.
and I know I could have built that out with him, because the guy that I was doing it with is a close friend too, and he was like, yo, we could do this and we could do that, and because he realized I had the business acumen. But then I was like, yo, like, I already have this here, the barbershop. That's my brother. I was gonna go back and, cause I was making good money with him, eh?
Yeah,
And I was like, you know what? I just gonna go back here. I'll make less money, but I'll figure it out. And that's when learn to cut and this and that, and and I do the back business end of stuff, and you came with the because you did it for a few years,
yeah.
but my goal was never to do it forever. My goal was always to
To use it as a stepping
as a
stone.
stepping stone, and so then yeah, so it's like, so for me it's okay, it's like me looking at here and it's like, okay, how am I going to get from here to here? If I jump, I can't touch it, you know. Me bending the ladder, and that's what school was to me, is, and I think that was one of the best decisions I made. It took me a while to actually do it because there's a lot of back and forth, but that's one of the best decisions I made, because the type of people, like, you'll be surprised when it actually, when I, because so the program is like uh what's it with my mind, that's one blank now, like
Corporate
there's a corporate program, but it's like, there's like oh yeah, it's like, okay, ivy,
Sigma.
yeah, like stigma attached to
Preppy.
it, whereas like, you know it's an excellent program. So when someone here is going to that program, but then when they meet the actual people, it's like family,
Yeah,
you know, and the conversations
they're like
different.
normal.
Yeah, like you would think that everybody, like, you go, and I think that my first semester, because I took a year off when I was going through my divorce, but like the first semester that I was there, I had um what they call it, I forget the name right now, when it's like I don't feel like I belong.
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
and I would never forget that the dean at the time, she pulled me across, Mary, and she's like, she came to me and she's like, Jason, like, there's a reason that you're here. You know, everybody's here for a reason. Like, you're here for a reason, and I could see that you have imposter syndrome, but try to raise your hand a little bit more, no? Like, because so part of a big part of the program is like contributions, like contribution during class and stuff like that. And after that conversation, I was like, give me a lot of confidence, right? And even like talking to other people afterward, it's not just me. Like, a lot of people have that, but even outside of the classrooms, it's like, oh, hey, I need X. Oh, cool. you know, let me help you. Somebody, or they could put you onto somebody, or somebody. Let's say someone asks in the group where I need, I don't know, something like this. I need someone to do videos. Oh, okay, hold on, I have my brother. Boom, you know. So the network is like, I think that's what you're paying for.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
But
it's the same
you're
thing when
paying
I
for
went to
knowledge
film school,
too.
right?
Yeah,
It's like yeah, you get the knowledge, but the people they meet is way more valuable.
way more valuable. But like, even like me watching the way that they run their business, everything they teach, it because it's a business, it's a school. But everything that they teach you, they actually preach it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, doing strategy, and strategy starts with. See, we talk about starting with you, and when you look at a business and you break that down, the business starts with you, and you understanding your why, and then you communicating that into your
To
mission
everybody.
statement, and then you creating and pushing that mission. So it's like it starts with you. And when I so like being there and I look around and I see different things, it's like what they're teaching us. They're not just saying, oh, you know what? Put these shoes on and then go over here and everything's gonna be fine. It's like, oh no, when you look over there, you see, oh, they have the shoes on too. Like, but they're just teaching you, they actually preaching what they teach. But yeah, but going back to the statements, like why is like, yeah, I think that was why for me. That I know that I know where I'm trying to go, and I I know in order for me to get there, I needed something to, you know,
Yeah.
help me in that direction. And school was that. It's crazy too because like at school, most people most people apply to like a couple different schools. I just applied to one school. I don't know why. Like I just feel like I knew it was my time to go to school. I knew I was gonna get. Like looking back now, like yeah, man, I don't know if that was the best thing to do, you know. But I didn't have a plan B. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna learn. And sometimes people ask like, oh, like, what are you gonna do when you're done? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, that's the beauty about it. As fate is like, I know where I'm trying to be, but at the end of the day, I don't think that. I feel like me going into the program, going to school, and saying, this is where I want to go. This is where I see myself. Cool. That's my vision to myself. But we just talk about God
Yeah.
and having faith because I might see myself going over here.
But God have a different plan. And
And
that's life,
and
bro.
that's the thing, and that's like now I'm learning so much different things, and it's actually starting to look at business on a whole other level. Like it's crazy the way I see things now, and the family that you like that I made over such a short space of time. People that for less than 2 years, a few months, become closer than people you knew for like years.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And they actually love you dearly, and they'll try their best to actually help. You know, and it's a place you could be vulnerable and this and that. So yeah, like yeah, I think that was why I did that. That's why I tried to go to school.
Yeah. So you had mentioned that you had take a year off, um, like because of the
June, yeah,
divorce
yeah.
and stuff, right? Um, you could tell me about that year, and you could tell me about like when you decide it's time to go back. Like, what was the thought process
Mm-hmm.
there?
Yeah, the year. So why do I? So so I start. I had to finish. I had to finish the year. The first semester I was at school. That's when I found out, and I realized that my goal was just to not fail. And like I'll talk to people and they'll be like, "Oh, I got an 80 or this on their side." I'm like, my goal is under 70 is a fail. My goal was just to not fail because I couldn't focus.
Just want to survive, yeah, just to
I
keep your
couldn't
head
focus
above
at
water.
all. I couldn't. I was in class or even like certain meetups, and I was there physically, but I wasn't there mentally because I studied what gonna happen with the kids and this and that and all these different things. And so as soon as I wrote the last exam, I'm literally writing exams. An exam is 4 hours. I'm like 4 hours in. When the 4 hours is up, I'm maybe like 60% done with the paper, like stuff like that. And I like, 70%. But in that 70%, thank God it was quality work, right? And I was like, nah, I need to do some stuff. So after my last exam, it was June 20th was my last exam last year, 2023. And on June 22nd, my boy and I, we went on a trip. Me and G and I, we went on a trip. We went up to Tobermory. I've never been there. But by the way, I was just working out and I was doing the cold water and stuff like that from the year before and stuff. And yeah, so we made that trip. Went up to Tobermory. Did a lot of like meditating, but a lot of like we didn't tell anyone. But that trip was actually a trip. We were going to go to fast. So we tell people, oh yeah, we're going to Tobermory. Everyone was happy, Manitoulin Islands. But sorry, we went there to fast. We were going to fast for 3 days. We were going for 5 days. So drive there, take the boat over to Manitoulin, and we had this place where it's like cabins on the water and stuff. Nice place. And we were going to fast for 3 days straight. I never fasted in my life before that. But I trusted my boy. So he went, and it so happened that year was when it had all the smoke and stuff.
Yeah.
So after the first night, let's say we started fasting at 6 p.m. By the morning, I guess I was just coughing the whole time. And then when I woke up, it was like the night before we could see the lake. It was like it's here and like literally 20 steps and the lake is right there. Beautiful. The next day, you could barely see on the other side of the lake. And then the morning. And then by noon, you couldn't even see the lake. So we had to leave. I was coughing too much. And so yeah, so that trip was like that. I don't know. We didn't ask her. No.
Well,
I
that's
never
what
asked. No, but it was something that was real cheap anyway, because it was like it's a place that they do stuff like that, and like they have like so G found it, so probably I don't think it was something too expensive. No, but it's like cabins.
That's a motel. Let's stay in a whole house.
No, it was real nice, but it's like a priesthood, so
pants.
they allow you to because of what we were doing, they allowed us to do it. So we had to come all the way back to Tobermory. So we drove, hoping to get onto the boat to come back because we had to take the boat back to Tobermory. Chichiman. Happened to catch it, come back. And either way, so that was like that. And we fasted. We ended up fasting we ended up all the way back to London. That's when I think I called you and you're like, oh no, the sky is clear. We drove all the way back. It took us, so we fasted for 66 hours. We didn't make the 72 hours. And by that time, we got to Granville. And Granville was still, like, there was smoke.
Yeah.
It was that bad. I was like, yeah, we need to stop, But in that time, it was like, we were doing stuff. So, like, we went to Grotto and we weren't just inside. And that was our plan, right? Like, meditate, pray, read. We brought a bunch of books. But yeah, so that was that part, and I think that was one of the best things that I did that summer. Maybe the best thing I do that summer, because that put my mind in a certain gear, bro. Like when you fast, you feel different.
But essentially, what you pay yourself through was the lonely phase.
Exactly, right. So no phone,
yeah,
nothing.
It's like You know, and it's something that I always say. Like I tell people all the time, choose depression before depression choose you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so choose to deal with your stuff. You know, practice practice self control and that kind, because when depression find you, like if you meditate and that kind of stuff, you put yourself in that state, and then you can come out of it because you can control. But if you wait until depression come on you, then it's gonna just you don't know how to fight it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's essentially what you guys did.
Yeah, yeah, we do that, and then we ended up. So then we just work out this summer, and I think I got to a point where I feel like I needed to. I had to leave Canada. I just had to leave London, you know, because everything I was seeing, and I was like, man, like, I just gotta be out of here. And that's when I went to Trinidad, and like no one knows, but like, so when I was there, I was just same thing, same vibes. I was just like nature all the time. I have my boys Jesse, all my boys down there. It's like, so we just like hikes. So Saturday morning, 5 a.m. hike. Like I literally flew from Toronto into Port of Spain. My boy Jesse picked me up, and we went straight onto a hike. He picked me up at like 6. We went straight to this hike where we did like rappelling down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro, it was cool. Yeah, yeah. That was real dope. And then I didn't even go home yet. I didn't go see mom yet. She knew I was there, cold and everything, but she knew I was going to do that, right? But like, and yeah, I do. That's when I started back doing therapy again. 'Cause I used to do therapy here before, like, but like I did a different type of therapy there. I did psychotherapy. That guy was actually really, really good. Um, and I was supposed to go for 6 weeks. Ended up staying for 3 weeks. I was supposed to go for 3 weeks. Ended up staying for 6 weeks, and yeah, just going to the beach all the time, and you know, trying to catch back myself, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I know like a lot of my friends down there. So for those of you guys that don't understand the Trinidadian culture, we like to party and drink. Um, but yeah, but for me that time I didn't really. I don't know. I'll go out. Let's say 7, 8 o'clock. See everybody because it's good to see everybody too. Chill like an hour, 2 hours tops, and I just go home and like chill, watch the stars, and just like chill by myself, bro. Like grab a couple of drinks or something on the way home, and just like chill by myself, you know. And yeah, and then when I came back, I was like, yeah, I think it took me a while too again. Why did then after that? I think like earlier on in this year was when I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready to start back in September.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I had to put that in my mind, and I was still doing therapy. Last year I was still talking to the guy a lot. Um, and then, and yeah, just continue to. It was just like, that's the thing, man. That's what I realized. Like, development is continuous.
I think it was also like after everything became final, it was like for like subconsciously could have been like closure. Could be like, you know what, nothing worth fighting for again. You know, right now I could fight for myself. I could fight for my kids. You know, and that's the best thing to do. Like fight for the people who want to be here.
Exactly.
You know, and that could be a big and then your life was just going by, right? And I think that it does a good part with mommy is that she's she there when you need her, but she also there when you need her to be like, you know, you had enough.
Yeah.
You had enough time to cry.
I like that.
Time
Yeah.
to time to put a lace up your boots, you know. And one thing she never encouraged us to do was to not go through that time. You know, go through that time.
Yes, that's
You
when I
know?
was there. That she never
Go through that time, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when time come, you know, just know that this is for a time.
Yeah.
Because by next year we're gonna be on your ass
Yeah.
again. So let's
Yeah.
take your time and cry.
She told me, she's like, yo, like I think you need to come to Trinidad. And I was like, yeah, I think I need to
Yeah.
leave, you know. Because I didn't want to leave because I was leaving the kids and this and that. I was like, you know what, I need to come alone. And yeah, from the time I reached, she's like, oh yeah, like my truck is there. That's like, go
Yeah.
ahead, like do your thing.
And but you see how important your childhood is. And this is the issue that whenever I talk about with like the whole situation with daddy is that your childhood is so impactful. It's the shortest time in your life, but it's the time that shapes you the most, you know? And you going back to Trinidad was you going back to the source.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and like for instance, if you didn't have a good childhood in Trinidad, you won't have gone back because that would have that wasn't gonna be a place of strength for you. You know, is that in your weakest moment you still needed a place like you understood that you needed a place for strength.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
bro.
and now a place that would make you weak and that's what going home supposed to be like, right?
And then I
Because
brought my
even at
family
that time
there.
I was going through like a hard time too. But like I'm different. Like when I'm going through hard times is when I'm the happiest on the outside.
What times you talking about? The same time as me?
Yeah, the same times.
Oh,
You know, because at that time my Christy was pregnant. She was going through probably the worst postpartum.
oh, serious? I didn't
from
know that.
yeah from any kid. Like we talk about it till this day. You know, is that her with Kai was the worst postpartum. You know, and so I was going through a time, and you was going through a time, but it had just like I just knew that this time will pass. You know, and for me, honestly, I would say that for me being a younger brother going through a hard time, when it has some people that in your life you look up to, you know. So it's like you could choose who you want to look up to. Or everybody have a different, you know. But for me, it was always like mommy, you had a couple people. But when you're going through a hard time, and you're not necessarily strong, and you see somebody who's supposed to be strong, and then you're going through the hard time, you don't want to see them suffer like that. So it's better to pretend that they're not suffering in your own mind, to be like, oh, this person just taking it way too, you know, he just trying to be, rather than okay, he actually going through certain things, it'd be more like he way stronger than that, and I don't want to see him like that. You know, so I think that was around the same time, and it was hard because everybody was going through the same thing. Mommy was going through something similar too.
Yeah.
With, you know, so it's like everybody
yeah.
going through everything, and you're like watching everything from spin around you, you know? But everybody's still looking at you to be the strong person.
Yeah.
So for me, it was hard to be the strong person all the time. I'm like, bro, I need a break too.
You know what I saw? And that's the thing, but and that's the thing. First of all, it's okay to not because
Hold on, man.
you.
I had to pee real bad.
Oh.
Just, you gotta remember, right? Hopefully. Okay. You got the porn action? Yeah. Yeah, porn from me.
What time we have? What time is now?
It's 12:51.
Cool. How much time we talk already?
Probably a one something though.
12:51 time. Is it?
No, 10:51.
Oh.
That's gotta be good.
I forget what we talking about again. I forget this. Um, I forgot.
It was I was talking about. Oh yeah, saying that it's okay to
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah.
start from that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like it's okay to it's okay to not know. You know, it's okay to not be okay, essentially.
Yeah.
Sometimes. You know what I mean? And like, and it's okay to admit that. And that's another thing I had to learn. You know, it's okay to admit that you're not okay. You know, because I feel similar to what you're saying. Like, you know, you have to be the strong person,
Yeah.
and it's like,
To ask for help. Have a strength and asking for help, right?
yeah. But as I was watching a lot of like Miles Monroe, and he had this thing he said. He's like, divorce is worse than death. And long story short, what he's saying is like, when someone dies, that's it. You're never gonna see that person again. You know, but like when you divorce somebody, like you go to the grocery store, the out partying or whatever, right? Like the person's still in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially if you have kids, right? So like,
Especially with Instagram and stuff.
you're
Now.
right. You know, and then I was watching this. So earlier, before when that was 2021, I did like a real estate. So I've been before even going to Ivy, I've been like
Searching.
exploring, right?
Yeah.
And but yeah, so the name of the group was Eagles, and from since then I was always fascinated with eagles, right? And I remember seeing this documentary on like you ever saw that like how an eagle changes its beak. It's crazy. You should watch look at that, bro. Like, well, first of all, like eagles fly alone. You know that eagles fly way higher than
You fly
pigeons.
over the storm, right?
Like yeah, they fly way higher. Like so, if let's just say a bird, any bird, was supposed to what like was supposed to like attack an eagle, whatever it is, all they would do is just soar higher, fly higher, and bird will try to follow it and eventually lose oxygen and it's like
Die.
yeah,
Pass out.
pass out. That's it. You know? But so eagles are a real fascinating animal too. But either way, it's like they were talking about how they oh no, it was Instagram I saw it, and they're talking about how they have to like claw the beak out and how much pain it is and this and that. And you know, but when it's done, you know, they have but something that they have to do. And similar to what you're talking about, like at some point you want to be you don't want, but you have to like face the roses, you know, and you have to say, well, hey, like, you know, the shoes are sometimes it's gonna hurt, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you gotta face that, you know, and and it's okay to ask for help, you know, and if you need it. And that's the next thing too. Like I think a lot of people this sometimes we you know, we find it hard to ask for help. And I realize I'm someone that help people and I'm still having I still struggle with that. Like, you know, like being like, hey, like I need help with this. And the funny thing is that when I actually do ask for help, I get it. Like I actually get help. You know? So it's in my mind that oh, you know, if I ask for help, I feel as though I'm coming off in this way and this is that. But then when you ask for help, you know, and then also like why is it so easy for you to help others but not accept others to help you? You know?
But do you think like this is a result of not having a present dad? And you know, like when I talk about daddy, I do like to say unpresent. You know, because he was there physically. He just wasn't there emotionally and like he wouldn't talk to us and stuff, right? So but do you think that comes from there? Because
Like what? Like the divorce?
no. Like not asking for help. Because we grew up with a mom right? We didn't see a man ask for help like that. You know, I feel like if we had a dad, that's what teaches us to ask for help. Because you ask your dad for help. Like whenever we ask our dad for help, and I don't hopefully he do feel bad for this is the past, but whenever we ask him for help, we get beaten for it. We scared be to I think I like to do maths, bro. You know, and I don't want to make him sound like he was abusive because I don't think my father was abusive
Yeah,
in
he
no
was
way.
abusive though.
You know? But your father's supposed to be the one to teach you to ask for help.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be able to ask your father. Like when Issa he just come and ask you for help.
Yes I know, bro. I think that's something that, and that's the thing, bro. People have to realize that development is ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Naya came in with her grades, you know, and I was happy. I was like, yo, like, you do good, you know, and I know she could do better, you know, and I'll push her to do better too. But I could be like, oh yeah, why you didn't do better? Like, it's like, no, like, listen, you see these ones I get wrong, and like, I went through the whole thing with her, and she's like, oh, so a lot. What I realized a lot of things that she knows, but and that's normal. So these things don't really matter. Is the lesson behind it that matters the most to me.
Mm.
You know, in that like, hey, same thing talk about help. That's exactly what I told them. Like, hey, like, it's okay to ask for help. You know, because like she'll get homework. Well, this new teacher doesn't give her homework, but before when she was in SK, which is weird, because no one ever gets homework. But I actually liked it. But she will try to do a lot of it on her own, and even like writing and everything. And I realized that it's good to a certain extent, but it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how, daddy. Like, can you help me? You know, and I will actually help you. You know, so that's something that'll be ongoing. So did daddy impact have an impact with that? Definitely, you know. But at the end of the day, I think that everybody have their own. Everybody
Hello, demons.
they own not just own demons, like their own parenting styles.
Yeah, but not only
You
that,
know, and his
like
parenting style was,
honestly, like yeah, but I
you
feel
know,
like
this that because that's what he grew up with.
exactly.
Right?
It's
He was the
his
oldest brother. Like, look at
yeah.
his life. Like,
He's just a product. He's just a
you
product, you
know,
know, and like
and
I
when
feel bad to say these things to I feel bad with not even to say these things, but this whole topic because like we always take for granted, bro, like the things that we have, you know, and something simple as our phones and how accessible entertainment is a huge reason why we could be better fathers. You know, so I would never say that I'm a
exactly,
better father
yes.
because of me. So I would never judge daddy as, oh, look at what I doing. Why you can do this?
Mhm.
Because he didn't have the outlets. He
Mhm.
didn't have the ability to start a podcast tomorrow morning.
Mhm.
You know, it wasn't. He could have burning desires in him that was hard to fulfill. That just like how I say run out of time. You
Bro,
know,
he didn't have brothers that was actually blood brothers,
like full blood.
full blood,
Yeah, full blood.
as
Right.
in like same mom and dad. There's a bunch of these things. Like, he's also the oldest,
Yeah.
and they're his brothers and they love him. But there's also saying like, so when I look at all of that, I'm like, hey, like, so like I was talking to him recently, and I said something to him, and he started to cry now, and he's like, yo, like, I'm happy that you see that, because I feel like nobody really see, you know. And essentially what I said to him was that, you see, gratitude, I think now we live, bro, and like you here, and we talked about that some time ago, like we wouldn't say that, oh, yo, I love you, bro, you know. But when you die, I'm gone 20 years, whenever it is, oh my God, I love this man so much. Why didn't say it when he was here? You know what I mean? And expressing that as men, that was something that I couldn't do. And now I just do it, bro. Cause so anyway, I called him and I was like, yo, like, thanks. And he's like, why? Because he had to go to church or something. He's going, man, I'm going to church now. But he's like, yo, like, thanks. And I was like, no, I told him thanks, and he's like, for what? I was like, for
Excuse me.
coming back. I say like, and he's like, coming back what? With what? Now, when we were kids, I would never figure that. So our parents separated. You was probably young. I don't know if you remember that or not. But either way, they separated. And but obviously in talking to him because of what I was going through, he was telling me certain things that he was going through when they were separated. Right? I know it now everything in my mind is adding up. And yeah, like he was seeing somebody at the time and or whatever and whatever. And he ended up for whatever reason, at the time, I wasn't just about to go into secondary school, and I wrote essay, and I was all the lowest
It
grade I
failed.
probably got.
Yeah.
The lowest grade I got in primary school was probably like a B plus, bro. I was always like a A student or like and when I wrote the exam, I passed for like so in Trinidad and Tobago, which is insane to say. But a mark of intelligence is a lot of it depends on the school that you go to,
Yeah, but you passed for.
the
And
school that you
that's like
pass for
11,
at 11 years old.
which is mad.
So you have kids studying for a long, long period of times, um, pass for
People commit suicide now
yeah,
too.
But either way, I passed for that school and was
Junior
like,
sec.
yeah, it was a junior sec boy,
Take a junior sec, yeah.
and
No more crap about junior sec, yeah.
I didn't care to go. I was a kid, and but
Yeah, most of
clearly
my friends
my
going.
mom, my mom was like,
Everybody going, mommy, go be sick.
and my mom was like, no, you don't can do that. You can go to two. I was like, no, why? And he came back. And when he came back, that's when in the past with Diego Sec. My first year in Diego Sec, I could have go to KRC. And I was like, no, I wanted to stay at because I was now getting to know people and this and that. But either way, then when KRC and this and that, right? And I'm here today. But what I'm saying is that small thing that everybody overlook and look at all the other bad things is like that's actually a big, big, big thing that I'm here today. Look at this. This was said to you earlier. Like, never underestimate where you are right now,
No,
and
definitely.
think that because you see you're looking at all other people like bro like the fact that we here now where we come from, and plus where we going is like that small thing that he did pivot our lives. Because don't forget, around those times is when mommy was doing like consulting with J&J and like traveling and you know, and you can't remember the time when you do when you hit me the
What's that,
nuts
bro?
dog.
No,
The
that's,
people
that's,
there,
that's
bro,
what I
bro.
said, bro. Like,
You know who was driving?
honestly, dog.
You know,
No. Honestly, I'll
so
tell you, like, even earlier when you talk about driving and going for drives, whenever I think about going for drives, I think about daddy, and it's because I feel it was the only place that we was allowed to be close to him, and it was because we was in a car.
yeah.
Like me sitting in the back seat with him in the front seat was the closest I could be to him without feeling awkward.
Yeah. But think about it from him, what he was probably thinking at that time. Because a drive is something that like me, something I just go for a drive by myself.
For him it might be thinking different.
You know?
But at the same time, I'll be like, honestly, I will tell you something, bro. I feel like it's crazy how your parents could teach you without really teaching you.
Mm-hmm.
And what he teach me was that your kids there, bro. Your kids don't care about how much money you make. Your kids don't care about what kind of car you drive. Your kids don't care about where we go on vacation once we go on vacation. Your kids don't care about what we watch once we watch it together. You know? Bro, it's so like when we was there, Christy I'd ask him if he does get bored in the house by himself. He's like, yo, sometimes the silence does want to kill me. You know? And it hurt me. But it's crazy how God is kind of gay where he asks for the most. And the way he has given it to you is you would never really understand. Because all I remember being younger was him asking for silence.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it had
You're right.
it still hurt me to see him, to hear him say that,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I really wish that when we was younger, he had spent more time trying to figure us out. Because I feel like I, out of all the kids, was the boy who wanted him the most.
Mm.
Like now you closer with him.
Yeah, and
You
you
know?
just start doing that. Like
Yeah.
last like since I moved,
No, but so
like
you,
6 years.
but now that you closer with him, deep down it have a boy in me that jealous of that.
Mm.
And I never think about it until just now as we
Mhm.
talking.
And
You
that's
know?
and that's the thing.
Like
That's the thing with getting to know yourself.
exactly, you know. So
And it's
so
okay to admit
so this
that.
is this is
you
this is
know?
almost like a therapy session. I didn't think
Yeah.
about that.
Mhm.
So this is one of these skeletons in these closet I was
Mhm.
talking about that
That
I
coming
didn't
out.
think about.
Mhm.
You know, and I say that when we have a conversation, I think about it.
Mm.
You know, because chances are that there's a boy deep inside of me that say, "How come you wanted him, but they want me?"
Mhm.
You
And
know,
you
And-
know what I realized too? And this tying back to divorce, time after daddy. But like we have seasons in our lives, bro.
Mhm.
And for me to it's easy to point your finger and judge somebody when you don't know the whole story, right? It's easy for you to say, oh, you know what, Jason, this person do this to me, and I just never talk to this person again because they do something to you. But I don't know the full story. You know, I just heard your side. I didn't hear their side. I don't know what happened to them earlier in the day. They might have lost their mom. Like, might have things that added to what the reason that whatever occurred. And it's like sometimes it's taking a step back and taking your ego out too, and being like, you know what? Let me give this a chance. Because you might be scared. And you know what? Daddy was a big part. He played a real big role in everything that happened for me after. Because, and I tell him that, like, talking to mommy on her next, mommy's, oh my God, she's a beast. But she's a woman. And then getting that other side from a man who would say, oh, you know what? And a lot of times he will say something similar to what mommy's saying, you know? But because he's a man and he lived that, he went through that, you know? I get I get an advice on both sides now. And then hearing from and he would tell me so many things that he was going through. And I'd be like, oh shit, I didn't see it like that. You know, I didn't know. Or well, I didn't even know that. You know? And it's like, yeah, and that's the next thing too. I don't think that they were like communicating. He he he, he didn't know how to communicate.
yeah. But I
He,
feel like
you know,
you see, for me, I think like one of the biggest blessings in my life was that my firstborn child is a middle child.
mm,
So my firstborn child is me. So I could understand everything. And being a middle child, you just want to be seen. You know? Because there's nothing special about it. It's not the firstborn and it's not the baby.
oh yeah, true, Jay. Oh yeah, true. You're right. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why with Jada, I defend Jada so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a different understanding with Jada.
Yeah.
Because I know what it is like. You know? Even like her report card. I got her report card. It's like, oh yeah, she's so good at all these academia stuff, right? Dancing and everything. But she doesn't listen. I'm like, yeah. Of course. You know, but I'm not gonna hate on her for that.
No.
You know, because that's a quality that you want, but at the same time, I understand.
Yeah, that's how to help her develop it.
Yeah, but
That's
you
the thing.
understand, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like for me, I remember being younger and people be like, oh, you're strong like your dad. Or you build like your dad. It's be like, yeah. You want to lead into that. And it's like, oh, daddy, look at me. I look just like you.
Mm-hmm.
You know? look, look, I look just like you, bro.
You do.
You know, come on. Like how you could see something that looked just like you and turn your back. You know, and so that's how I feel. That how I felt was like why just why wasn't enough, bro. You know, it was weird for me. You know, for you it was like, okay, Jason going to parties, right? Jason going to parties. Jeffrey going to church because back in the days he wasn't in the streets. He was he was send Jeffrey in church. You know, it's like it's me now, but I wasn't good at cricket.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't good at cricket. I wasn't playing football. You know, but I was here. I was in the house. Well, you wanna play chess? Yeah, dad, I can play chess. I learned to play chess. I just remember that after talking to you.
Well,
I
he teach you how to play chess? Daddy
but
taught
I
you?
learned on my computer to play
Oh.
chess
Yeah.
in the hopes we could play chess together. We never played chess together.
Yeah.
So even though you understand certain things, bro, and I know we way off topic, but it was still more like what I was supposed to do. So the way he teach me was to see what in front of your face, bro. These kids don't care about how much money you make, dog.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, like, same thing about like with the report card, right? It's not about the numbers, bro. It's not about the A's or the B's or the C's or whatever it is. It's not about that. It's about, to me, it's much more than that. You know, and like guiding, because that's essentially, I look at myself as my kids' mentor,
Definitely.
their coach, right? Like, I'm supposed to help them navigate life.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, I see, it's similar how you talk with Jade. I see that with both of my kids, but even like with Isan, I feel like, yeah, like we could just chill and he would come and we'll laugh and like belly laugh, bro. Like we belly laugh, you know? And it's like, but at the end of the day, maybe if our past wasn't like that, my childhood wasn't like that,
It would
I
have
don't
been
know.
the same. Right.
It might be the same. You know, and that's the thing, like, you said it earlier today, you know, that you can learn from anybody. Right? As I say, don't gonna take advice from a crackhead, but I don't know if that's the right word to use. Maybe we can edit
No,
that part.
no offense to the crackheads.
But you know, you're not gonna take advice
offense to crackheads.
from a hobo, like financial advice, I should say. But who's to know, as you said too, maybe that person was very wealthy and made a mistake and they can help you, right? You can get advice from anybody, and yeah, I just think that life is seasons, and that part of our lives gone. And for me to be able to explore my childhood, I had to understand myself, and then I started with me, and then from there I was like, okay, you know what? I started like mending relationships, and because I think that that's also a really important relationship to have. Like, think about it like this. This is the way I thought about it. It's like, hey, you know what? I have 2 kids, and their grandparents are still here. Well, on my side, and then their mom on your side. But like, you know, and I want them to get to know. I want them to be able to tell stories about that they had with their grandparents, because I didn't have that.
Definitely.
And I didn't have that because of the beef that he had with his dad.
That.
You know, the first time I
No,
saw
mommy,
my granddad was on a taxi, and I didn't even know who the guy was. Mommy had to show me, oh yeah, that's a granddad. That's wild. You
But
know?
like, so like as you talking here, I get a next vision that just came to me, and it was like, I went to Trinidad this year, right? I took my kids and I was there for 3 weeks. And after the 3 weeks, well, granted, 1 week, everyone in the house had diarrhea. We had a flu.
from
I don't know, we catch a bug, bro. We had like, it was a weird diarrhea. It wasn't nauseous, but the shit would just come from nowhere. Sometimes we go down to the pool with the kids and be like, okay, kids, you have to go. They didn't understand.
Oh, they had diarrhea too.
No, it was
Oh,
just
oh, just you and
me and
Christy.
Christy.
Okay.
You know, but for the 3 weeks, I saw my dad for like 3 or 4 hours, and one day, and it was just like the Friday, obviously, for the Monday or something like that. And what just came to me is that because I always ask myself, how come we didn't see him for 3 days? And what just came to me was that I went there. Every time I go back to Trinidad, I'm a kid again in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like even when we was leaving Trinidad, like my eyes was like watering because she was like, "You wanna cry?" I was like, "Yo, you don't understand that whenever I come here, I became a man in Canada.
Yeah.
So when I go back to Trinidad, I always find the kid that I left,
Mm-hmm.
and the kid that I left was waiting for his dad to come and find him. He never came.
He called me. He did call me a few times, huh?
Yeah, but still,
Yeah. So, but
he
that's what
never
I'm saying.
came.
Like,
Cause if it was me,
go. Yeah.
I would have find them.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
nothing could keep. Like I would have find them.
Yeah.
They would have had to tell the security to leave me
But
outside.
but that's what I'm saying. But you have to realize that everybody. This
I
is
said it
how
in
he
advance
is.
too. I said it in advance.
Was that what to
I
him?
yeah, I said it in advance that I was coming.
Yeah.
So
But
it was that kid saying, "You coming and find me?
mm-hmm.
You coming
Yeah.
and find me?"
So and you're right. But so this is the thing, right? Like maybe. But I think you guys just had to sit down and talk, man, and 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 that's the thing with communication too, right? Is you say that's a kid in you waiting for that, and then we could see that with our kids, but he didn't do that with us, so he maybe doesn't have that inclination,
Definitely. It
you know.
had film.
So it will be hard, bro.
It
Like
had film.
so in his mind, he might be like, yo, what I do that was this or this, and my only thing is I talk about time and how time is short. They say the average 30-year-old have 40 years to live. Or something like that. 40. Yeah, the average 30-year-old have like 40 years to live. He, he almost had the extra 40 years, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and trust me, bro, like you're gonna learn a lot because is he'll call me, sometimes asking about you guys, but it's just your timing, bro.
But
It will take it.
I
It will, it's
think
just your timing.
I think it's also him. He don't wanna find his demons. He don't want to walk into that room.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm.
He don't because honestly, bro, I tell you, bro, and all these things coming to me as I talk to you, bro. I never think of these things.
But why you think is he don't fight his demons?
Because you never do therapy. Because
That's not known in
like,
Trinidad.
I know
That's
but
not
I
a
feel
thing.
like, yeah, but I
in
feel like
his
it's
age,
because
it's
it's that he
70.
just don't know. No, he doesn't know. He just don't want to fight it on his own. It's just like how I don't fight on my own, and that's how we're so similar.
No,
For me, I understand the therapy because of the culture that we're in now. But I know is that I don't want to fight my demons on my own. I want somebody to help me, and then put them out. I didn't never
yeah.
answer you.
And thank God for that. Thank God that you find out when you're young.
Yeah.
When he was our age, he didn't have that.
You know what? I think I need, bro. I think I just need him to call me and be like, bro, I see you, and I'm sorry I didn't see it before.
That they're gonna say this thing. Listen until the end of the podcast, and that's could you get give him a call.
Hey, no, for real, look, I tell no, but bro, I mean,
I was joking.
because all these things coming to me, and I never thought of these things, bro.
And
I
that's
actually never did.
good
That's played in the
conversation.
back of my mind, and that's what I tell you that it had this room that I just don't go into in my mind, and that's this room because it have all these bottles of different wines from different years, and each wine is a different memory or a different untouched emotion that I like. I don't want to drink this wine myself, and because we're drinking it together, I could actually talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's weird, bro. I don't think about these things.
But I'll also say too, like, I think a real important piece that was missing too is mommy's role. Like, so the role of the woman, and yes, she at that point in time she became the man, and she did a phenomenal job, but there's no one time that I could remember that she was ever like, oh, your father this or your dad that. Like,
No.
and that's crazy.
And
Like,
but that's one thing I
you
kind
know,
of,
we'll
that's one
know.
thing I
And
low
she
key
never
catered
was
up
like,
for.
oh, don't go and thing. And
Yeah.
she'll be like, hey, listen, ask your dad. Go talk to him. This and that. And we'll be like, oh, no, like, we don't know. You know, it's like, yo, like, you right here. You know, and I remember even like when we used to live there, I used to go every Saturday. That's one another childhood memory I have. Every Saturday, I'll go into his pants, take out cash, and go buy doubles.
Yeah. That
On
was
a
it,
Friday
man.
night, buy like wings, the what they call it. You know, it had like
By wings. By the
the
corner.
yeah, on the corner.
Wings, yeah.
You know, by wings.
Rings does bad still, boy.
Yeah,
Rings
you
is
know.
bad.
So like, so that I say like I remember doing that too. You know. So trust me, like you start to tap into yourself and really look and see, and that's the thing. Like I think you can learn a lot through adversity. I
Definitely.
think that you had to develop some sort of, and the more you hide and you run from it and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But like, that's seeing it and understanding and saying, hey, like, this person's a human too, and everybody make mistakes, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, to what degree you really gonna cut, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's how I see it. It's like, bro, like, you know, you have family, you have kids, you have grandkids. That, bro, like you'll be surprised, bro. The man love it too. Like you be praying to me on
No
the
one,
phone.
bro.
I think he the same way you.
No, no,
You think
no.
about as a child.
Of
I feel
course.
like he probably thinking about it the same way too
Of
as a
course.
child
Of course.
too.
No, but the
You know
thing
what I mean?
is that, bro, I will
Maybe I
tell
don't
you,
know.
everything you're telling me, I know now. You know what I want? Just accountability.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that's why the long conversation when that happened, because I was like, bro, I don't want to hear what everybody else do.
Mhm.
You know? I just wanted to be accountable.
Mhm.
I just wanted to look at me and be like, I should have been there and I wasn't. I can't change it right now,
Yeah.
but I realized that
Yeah.
I should have been there.
Yeah.
You know? And then at that point, it will have the child in me that I finally allow to die in peace.
Yeah. So when I went to Trinidad like years ago, that was when we just started back talking and stuff. Like that was the first. That's what I say. Like it would start with with the conversation, right? And at least with me, like it was like he talked about all that. Like I ask questions, bro.
Yeah.
You know, because I look at myself as like, you know what? I'm not a kid.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
But
mean?
see,
Like
but that's because
I'm
your
not a kid.
relationship was different.
I know that's and 100%. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, your
So for
relationship
me,
with him was
but for me,
different.
exactly. So that's sense for me, I look at it and I say, you know what? I'm not a kid anymore. Oh man. And when I start thinking like I'm not a kid anymore, my man, I ask questions. And yeah, and the answer and we talk. But you're right. Our relationship was different.
Mhm.
So it's like bridging expectation and reality. So this is the thing right now, right? It's like, okay, this is what you expect, and this is the reality in version, however it is you want it to be. But there's a gap.
Yeah.
And what you need to figure out is how do you close that gap? Right? And for you to close that gap is like you gotta find out the truth too. Because don't forget you're going based on
But you see,
not
because
even one side of
you
the
see,
story. A lot of stories that we didn't even
I know,
know.
but you see, because I have kids now, I can't keep looking up. I have to look down. So my focus now is this pain can't go on to them. So that's why the pain is to the back, and that's why the room is untouched. Because now I have to make sure that the pain don't go down to them. Even though it will trickle along, I have to figure out how to close the gap for them so that then they can change the gap for their kids.
Right, and you're right. But
And that's why it's so hard, because it's supposed to be the top that send a rope down and say, here, climb this rope.
and you're right. Absolutely right. Now, what next thing that Miles Monroe was talking about purpose, right? And how you find the purpose. And one of the ways that you find the purpose is by going back into your past. So you remember you know that I did like the ancestry.com. I found out like 30% Nigeria and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I put that on hold is because of school. But when I'm done with that, I want to find out about my ancestral background. Not just forget even that's way past that. But I'm saying like when I figure those things out, right? you never know where you're gonna find one. But either way, it's like that's when you could see, okay, you know what, like it helps you understand. That'll help you understand why you're here.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? It'll help you understand why you're here, you know, and that's what I say is like even looking past him too. So for me, it's not like looking past or looking just at anybody in particular, but you're right about the relationship that you guys had, and yeah, that's. I hope all you guys will figure it out. Hopefully, you guys just
No, definitely.
yeah, guys figure it out.
This is another episode of Young and Gifted. Young and Gifted is sponsored by Tons Productions and Oxamo Barbershop. Oxamo Barbershop, London's